Hello, lovely, and welcome to More Than the Glass, a space for honest conversations about motherhood, alcohol, identity, and reconnecting with yourself. I'm Gillian,
I'm Karen.
and wherever you are on your journey, you are so welcome here because we deserve more. Today, we want to introduce ourselves and welcome you to our brand new podcast.
So, for those of you that don't know anything about our circle and myself and Gillian, our circle is a space that mums come to take a break, quit alcohol, and change their relationship with drinking. We have a core message, which is at our circle. We know motherhood brings so many demands, huge demands, and many mums, ourselves included at the time, used to use alcohol to cope with the stress and pressures of everyday life. We provide coaching, support, technique, and our shared experiences to help other women redefine their relationship with alcohol, helping them to learn to reconnect to themselves and, most importantly, to create a life so beautiful that they just don't want to escape from it.
Absolutely. I think for me, this is the space I wish we had when we were giving up alcohol.
Exactly. And this is the whole reason that our circle exists, doesn't it? Because, we've both got our very own individual stories about our own background, our own struggles, and what's brought us here today. But ultimately, if we'd have had a space for us to, I don't know, just be able to talk about how we're feeling with other mums that just
Yeah.
get it, I think it's just become such a beautiful thing for us to be able to do, off the back of what we've learned and what we've been through, isn't it? So
Yeah, totally. And I think over the course of this podcast, we'll explain more to the women about how we gave up alcohol. I think we both done it so differently.
yeah,
And we've took the strengths of that, but we also know the gaps. We also know what else would have helped us.
we do.
And there's so many alcohol-free groups out there now, thank God. But I suppose we know from our experience how much alcohol and motherhood are like so connected to one another, or
Yeah,
how alcohol is woven into the demands and the role and the identity of motherhood. And to
yeah,
just stop drinking alcohol without looking at all that stuff as well is I just don't think you can do it in isolation. Alcohol was everywhere in my life.
yeah.
So and being a new mum was like the toughest job I'd ever had. So I had to look at, I think you do have to look at them both together.
You do. I think alcohol is just one piece of the puzzle, isn't it? Whereas there's so many other interlinked sections. And I think, like you say, just to take that in isolation and just remove something, it may work for a short period of time, for so long. But if you're looking for, complete life change and to really get underneath it, you need to understand all of the parts of it rather than just taking that one piece.
And then there's always just something brilliant when mums, like when women come together, it's incredible. But when mums come together and like really support one another with
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
like everybody in the room gets it, don't they?
absolutely. And it's so beautiful because you can see like the light in other people's eyes, can't you? And in their voices when one person is brave enough to kind of share something, and then you can see someone else is like, oh my God, I thought it was just me. But actually, I felt that too. And yeah, I think just being able to have that safe space to be able to share, to open up, to be vulnerable, and just to realize actually it isn't just you, and have that I don't know, just to be held by, it sounds really naff, but to be like held by that sisterhood, it's so important. It really is. And I think, women coming together is so powerful. So powerful.
And I'm really proud of the safe space we have created. Like, stepping forward and saying you want to do something different, and then reaching out to strangers, right?
Yeah.
And meeting these other women. Like, that is probably one of the most daring, courageous things that you can do.
Yeah.
And when we see the women at the other end, like when they come in, whether it's an alcohol-free experience or one-to-one, like when you see the difference that vulnerability and the honesty, like that in itself is a transformation, never mind giving up alcohol.
It's light and shade, isn't it? Literally, it is incredible. But like you say, it takes, a lot of courage, a lot of strength, a lot of trust to put yourself out there. And yeah, to know that we have like created that space, it's beautiful. And actually it's lovely for us as well, because yeah, we might be, 6, 4.5, 5 years down the line, but actually still to have like that community and that like-minded space, it still means a lot, because you're still learning. Like you never stop learning on this. So
No, never. I suppose that kind of brings us on to like why we're creating this podcast. And I suppose there's like a number of reasons for that.
yeah.
Well, everybody's doing podcasts these days,
We just
aren't
thought
they?
we'd just like we'd get in as well.
It still blows my mind that this is what we're doing, right? I'm like so excited. But we will always talk to women about their alcohol-free toolbox. And podcasts are that. Podcasts where people are talking really openly about their alcohol-free experience, their struggles and their successes. And I think it's why go out there and try and learn it all from scratch yourself when somebody else will have made those mistakes?
Yeah.
Somebody else will have sat a family member down to tell them. Somebody else will have had that first girls' day out. Like, there's so much knowledge and wisdom out there, and it's literally in your phone now, thanks to podcasts. And I always remember when I was giving up, like the last time, this time I gave up, I used to listen to Annie Grace's podcast all the time. And it was during lockdown and you got your walk a day, and I would go out and listen to this podcast, and it just constantly like topped me up. It was a constant reminder of why I'm doing it, because I could hear people that were having real struggles. And I also heard people, and I could connect with that. And I was hearing people that had like just turned their life around and were like living on a total high. And I was like, that's what I want. And it just always made me remind myself what it was I was doing and why I was doing it. And I always say, I think at the beginning, it's like a bit of a full-time job. I always say, immerse yourself in everything alcohol-free. And podcasts are a brilliant way to do that. Like, you can be literally anywhere listening to a podcast, the washing, the dinner, the car, your walks, and just use podcasts as a tool.
Yeah. And I think
as a total top up and reminder about this new life that you're trying to live.
Yeah, completely agree. And I think especially for busy mums, we know that mums are time poor. So to be able to stick that on, like you said, going for a walk, or I was a little bit later to find podcasts, but for me, it's when I'm doing my cleaning. So over weekends, I literally like chuck podcasts on as I'm going around like doing the cleaning, that kind of thing. And I kind of feel like I actually love it. And I actually now see it as a bit of self-care rather than like the chores of doing the cleaning, because actually I'm being productive and getting something done. But whilst I'm doing that, I'm also topping myself up. I'm learning. And yeah, very often inspiring myself while I'm like dusting and, and I think, again, that's so important for busy mums because, it's really difficult to find a minute to yourself. But actually, if you can have that on in the background, crack on doing something else, and actually, you've already allocated that time, and actually then you're also making time for yourself, your own development, your own learning. And again, like we've said, it's just reminding you or showing you that you're not on your own. It is not just you. And so many people out there feel the same way that you do, are having the same struggles, and you will identify with something that they say, and it just, I don't know, it's just that reassurance to like move you forward, isn't it? It's so important.
Yeah, I think when if you're just starting out, it can feel really lonely and really scary. And if you're kind of feel like you're getting the hang of it, but you might be the only person that's doing this in your circle of family and friends. So it can feel like a really lonely place. And it's just something about hearing other people's voices and that are saying something. Like some of the women and men on that podcast that I used to listen to had completely different stories, but they would maybe just say a sentence and I'd be like, I've thought that. And all of a sudden, that shame and that mum guilt and all that stuff that keeps you stuck, that's all starting to break away a wee bit because it's not just you. There's all these other people out there that feel the same or have thought the same.
Yeah, definitely. And so this period of time is what I call my like forever alcohol-free sober journey. But I did give up for 18 months back in 2019 as well. And in that time, I did it all on my own, and everyone around me was still drinking. And I did feel very, very isolated. I felt like the feelings that I was going through and experiencing and everything that was going on in my head at the time, that there was nowhere for that to go. I couldn't let that out. Not to anyone that I think really got it. Of course I could talk to family and friends, but because they hadn't lived it, been through it, sometimes it was good to be able to let it out, but you don't get that like validation back because, they can empathize, but they kind of don't get it. Whereas I think if you're having those conversations within like groups or you're listening to people almost validating your feelings and your experience, it just takes that weight of shame, anxiety, feeling, and just, I don't know, just kind of softens it a little bit and just helps take you to like that next step. So yeah, like we say, this is such an important tool in your alcohol-free toolbox, wherever you are, whether you're just kind of thinking about it or whether you've already sort of started your own experience.
And I suppose that kind of brings us on to what this podcast is going to look like or sound like. It will by no means be polished or perfect.
I mean, I don't know what you mean, Gillian.
Almost nothing we do is polished or perfect, and I'm actually starting to own that and feel quite pleased about that. Like I'm feeling quite comfortable in that space. So this is two busy working mums coming together, sometimes with guests, talking to you about our experiences, our training, and what we have come to understand from the other mums who have joined us here in our circle. So we are not here to say this is how it should be done, this is how you would achieve success or whatever that looks like. We are just here to try and help people wherever they are in that alcohol-free story, to provide them with some tools and to help them not feel as alone. But if you're thinking that this is going to be, let's say, glam and spot on, then it's probably not the podcast for you. But if you're in the thick of motherhood, you understand the struggles, then like buckle in because that's the vibe we're going for. Is just progress, not perfection, I think is the mantra I would like to use.
Unapologetically us.
Yeah, that's it. That is it. Unapologetically our circle.
Yes. And I think, I guess before we go any further as well, it's probably important just to kind of quantify that. You mentioned our training, and we are accredited alcohol-free coaches, but we're not qualified to work in the addiction space, so we're not medically qualified. So the women that we work with are mums, busy mums that are in that grey area of drinking, where they're feeling disconnected and have their own struggles with alcohol, but are not physically, but medically dependent. And we would always say that if anyone is experiencing an addiction, then your first port of call would be medical professionals. It would be your GP, and to go down those routes. But yeah, we will ramble on at you. Take what you like and discard what you don't. But we hope that there will be something that you connect with or identify with, and we'll also turn up as our authentic self, so that, you know, there could be times that we're struggling. Just because we're alcohol free and have been for, you know, significant periods of time, doesn't mean everything is like rainbows and unicorns. And, you know, we will be really real with you, and if there's something that's kind of going on for either of us, then, you know, we will talk about that as well. It's just a gentle offering to you of how we feel and being mums in that kind of same space. So yeah, just thought it's kind of important just to kind of note that.
Yeah, and I suppose there are boundaries for the sake of people's safety as to who we can and cannot work with.
Yeah.
But for those who do come to work with us, there is like no rules, no expectations, absolutely no judgment. And I think that's seen in the totally different type of women that come and work in our circle. We've had people who join us to meet a fitness goal that alcohol might have been getting in the way of. We have people who have drank every day, people who may have had like an event, something's happened that's made them go, enough is enough, I can't keep doing this. And for others, there's that kind of drip effect that's eventually something stirred inside them and said, no more. So it's definitely not about, that's what I think is important for anyone either in our circle or listening to this podcast. Going alcohol free isn't about volume, frequency, something happening. It's about that knowing inside of you that you're not happy with what's going on in your life, and there's this desire to change. And that alcohol will be the catalyst for that. So just when your version of enough is enough, then that's why you can find yourself. That's why you're welcome here, and always welcome in our circle.
Absolutely. And I think it's all about mums reconnecting to themselves. It's all about coming back to that need, because ultimately we're all looking for something in the bottom of that glass, and we're all looking for something very different. And individually we could be looking for something very different at different times, but it's about just identifying what it is. So this isn't all about stopping drinking. It's about reconnecting and understanding who you are and what you need. I think that's really important to kind of like identify that. As we go on, we hope to talk to you about many varieties of topics. As Gillian said as well, we hope to have guests. Some of the episodes will be tips and tricks, reflections, challenges and successes. We just really hope that you'll come along for the ride. We're hoping to drop these weekly. So, you know, when you're doing the cleaning of a weekend, you can bob it on and listen to us two ramble on.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm excited to see where this takes us, and I'm excited to see what it can do for women out there as well.
Fabulous.
Okay, well, thank you so much for listening today. We hope that you're leaving this episode feeling like seen and supported and reminded that you do not have to do this alone. So until next time, take gentle care of yourself because we deserve more.